possible so we can show off the abilities and the animations. But all right, so we have a Samuel on Samuel action, and I'm getting very dizzy very quickly. The full blueberries 360 there that we just got. All right. All right, so Samuel, walk us through. So you're playing Samuel in lane. Is that a fair statement? Sometimes you immediately off the bat do the thing people least expect.
So he's actually designed to be a late laner, but I actually prefer to play him in jungle. So maybe
of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
So maybe in future games, when someone does that, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But as a laner, he's also very strong as well. He needs a lot of gold and he can be an excellent carry. He could build like 2 or 3 crystal items, which is where and he definitely got ganked there. What do you need to do?
King of Zeal. I was just playing with King of Zeal. I'm POA now. I've been playing with King of Zeal, RN Prodigy, and Flourish.
I do believe you're actually a higher tier than me, right?
As now. It should be. No, that's completely untrue. That is not a correct visualization of relative skill. But yeah, so on Samuel, just take me through his early game for you. Let's just pretend you were playing lane because I'm such a one-trick pony that I begged you to play jungle, and so you ended up in lane because of me. Talk me through how you're approaching the early game. Where are the power spikes? Are you being aggressive? Are you being passive? What items are you looking to start? Just walk me through the start of the game for Samuel.
Okay, so generally speaking, I believe the best item to start with him is a crystal bit. It ups your damage, lets you last it a little bit better. So you really have to pay attention to his passive. I believe it's up every 6 seconds or so, and you can tell because there'll be little like a black lightning that's coming from his wands, like right there. And when you see that's up, you should probably try to use it on the enemy hero. That way you gain the maximum amount of mana, energy, and health that you possibly could, and that will keep you alive in lane. So one of the hardships that he has in lane is that his primary skill, his A skill, is actually blocked by minions. So you will have to try to find exactly. Yeah, you have to.
So you have the minion dance.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love that. I think that's a really interesting dynamic as an opponent trying to stay directly on the other side of those minions to maintain protection.
Yes, and if you are playing the Samuel, what you might want to do is try to get on the other side of the minions and just lay on some damage, or to rotate around the minions so you can get a clear shot.
Right.
There are some things that you could do, for instance, like if you cast your B skill, the Cloud, and send it into the enemy, they'll usually back up. But if you advance while moving in it, you can get some free damage because they'll be away from the protection of their minions.
Are they building Samuel correctly? Both pretty standard crystal bit and energy battery starts. Is this kind of the right approach, and where would you take the builds from here?
Yeah, so both builds right now are pretty good. I mentioned before that he does have some energy problems. So even if you maximize the use of his passive, you'll probably still be out of energy. My personal preferred build is I like going with a Shattered Glass, a Clockwork, and a Broken Myth. And those 3 items grant him a ton of damage, but also gives him enough cooldown to spam his B skill.
All right, talk to me about where the power spikes are. You know, of course, with Celeste, like strong early, then this period where you got to be really careful, and then an explosion of power. Just talk me through how you should approach when you're aggressive, when you're passive with a Samuel.
So I actually think he's fairly consistent all game long. The only things you have to keep in mind though is while your B skill is on cooldown, you are significantly weaker. So don't forget that when you're standing within the cloud, not only are your bolts empowered, but they also do AoE damage, and you actually heal some for every target that's being hit by the cloud as well. So if you do not have enough, try to play a little bit more on the passive side, and just back off until it comes off cooldown.
Okay, can you walk me through a typical fight where it's like you see a jungle 2v2 breaks out, you're in lane, you're going to rotate down. How are you going to approach that fight? You know, if you were Celeste or Ringo, you're staying right on the edge of the fight and trying to put out damage without putting yourself in danger. What's your mindset as you're rotating down into a fight?
Okay, so the first thing that you want to think about is are you winning or are you losing that team fight? If you think that your team could come out ahead, what you would want to do is cast your drifting dark, I believe it's called, forward into the enemy team, and then just stick in the cloud and lay on as much damage as you can. Because generally speaking, as long as you stay within it, very few heroes can match the amount of damage that he can actually put out. And
hey guys, we're getting a whole bunch of static rip. Okay. Should we keep talking? All right.
Okay, and like I said, if you're actually losing, you think that you're losing the team fight, actually cast it backwards as soon as they're about to commit onto your team. This will allow you to back up while shooting your bolts from your A skill, and still get on a good amount of damage while staying out of harm's way.
We're terribly sorry if we're making your ears bleed. They are aware in the back, and they are trying to address the issue. Okay, it's over. The pain has stopped. We're very sorry about that. Could you just, for anyone who might have missed that while they were, holding their ears and rolling around on the floor in agony, just walk me through again, just kind of like your mindset rotating down into a team fight with Samuel.
Yep. So one of the things that you will absolutely have to keep in mind is what direction the team fight is going to go. So usually if you're winning the team fight, you will want to cast your B skill towards the enemy. This will allow you to chase them a lot better and do a lot more damage. However, if you are losing the team fight, you want to actually cast it backwards. That way you can retreat while laying down some cover fire.
Yeah,
so
as you see that.
Yeah, in this particular team fight, Dark Plagueis does not have his B skill up, so he has to actually retreat. It does have a fairly long cooldown. I believe it's 20 seconds at all ranks.
Interesting.
So you do have to make very good use of that skill.
Yeah, that is interesting. So tell me, Sir Shinkaigen, what is the one thing that people wouldn't instinctively think about with this hero that is like the thing that you're doing on day one that no one else is, and that's why you're just cleaning up with the ranked with the skill tier advances in the beginning of update 121?
So there's a lot of small tips and tricks that you can learn about trying to fire his malice. So the interesting thing about the skill is it will always fire towards the direction that or at the target location, right? Generally speaking, that means he'll just constantly shoot at that spot. However, it will affect the angle that is going at. And for instance, let's say you tap a little bit in front of Sam and you walk over that point, he'll actually shoot in the opposite direction now.
Interesting.
So it's a little hard to explain, but there's lots of small tricks in trying to aim that. And if, for instance, you're up against a Taka, it might be very good to cast your ability very close to your feet and then just adjust your movement so that way it can hit wherever he happens to land.
That is really interesting. And guys in the back, if we can keep doing Samuel zooms for the people who joined us late, get a good look at the latest hero coming to Vainglory. This is Samuel, a Dark Mage. The Sugar Venom lore is amazing, so definitely keep an eye out for that in the hero lore section, in the new section of the app. Super fun. We'll add some additional kind of soul to the character for you as you're checking out this new hero. And so, Shinkaigen, kind of take the lay of the land on this match. We got one Samuel that's 3-1, one Samuel that's 0-3, even though extremely similar build paths. What's kind of been the difference in either the approach to Samuel or, what you've noticed in this match, or what you would be trying to do on either of these sides moving forward?
So in a lot of these fights, well, first, I believe red side team has been ganked a lot more in lane. So if that's been happening a lot, I would like to see some vision being dropped. And generally speaking, you should stay on the upper part of the lane, so that way it takes the longest amount of time for the enemy team to actually reach you if they were to gank you. Blue side team does have a lance and a kestrel, but they're not like super mobile. So as long as you stay on the upper half, like he won't get you with the impale. He can't use his Glythian wall, and you should be able to just back up.
Githian wall.
Githian wall.
There's no L in there.
I know.
I don't know when the casters put the L in there. It drives Sugar Venom crazy. I have to defend her. Okay. So with that, how do you think about Samuel in terms of, like when you're playing Lyra, it's like I'm super powerful, but I'm also incredibly squishy where if I get caught, if Samuel lands an impale, not Samuel, if Lance lands an impale on me, like it's over, right? Do you have the same kind of mindset with Samuel? Is it a different mindset when it comes to your vulnerability?
So while he's technically squishy, he can be deceptively tanky. So while you're casting your Drifting Dark, for every target that's inside of it, you will heal a certain amount of health back. So, for instance, here you can see that King Azil was actually recovering a little bit of HP there. If there's a lot of targets on you, you can just heal a surprising amount, especially if you build like an Eve of Harvest or something along those lines. But he also has kind of a way to get himself out of trouble. So if you cast his ult on yourself, for instance, as an enemy target jumps on you, you can put them to sleep, and that will give you enough time to actually get away from trouble.
I thought you were like, if all hope is lost, you can always put yourself to sleep, and then you won't have to feel the pain.
No. You put them to sleep. And then clearly that is what I meant. That's the best tactic there.
Then you can go grab a sandwich, like until someone hits you. You can just chill out.
Maybe if you fall asleep, you just they'll think you're dead and they'll just leave you alone.
Yeah, maybe they will, maybe not.
Advanced tactics, right there.
Advanced tactics for the just beginning skill tier. Yeah. So Samuel. For anyone who joined us late, Samuel is a dark mage coming in update 121, which is right around the corner now. Recap the abilities real quick. Corrupted Genius, the heroic perk. After 6 seconds, Samuel's next basic attack fires a bolt of dark power at the target, dealing bonus crystal damage. This attack restores some health and energy, can be deceptively strong. The A is Malice and Verdict, his 2 wands, fires 2 quick shots, can move between the shots. And if he's standing inside Drifting Dark, there you see a Drifting Dark. You see the Venn diagram. The first time I've seen the Venn diagram of Drifting Dark. All we need now is an Adagio alt and an Arden Gauntlet. And we have for the first time, we can have 4 quadrants of the Venn diagram.
Oh gosh, like that would be so confusing. What was an interesting thing there is both of the Samuels fired Drifting Dark at each other, but then they both backed off. It's like a game of chicken. Like who's going to walk into the cloud, and then will that be? Is that even a good idea? There's a lot of decision-making process going in here, and just because you fire the cloud forward does not mean you have to commit onto it.
But you so want to.
I know, it's very tempting.
It's hard to see that cloud just drift on by and not jump inside of it. Drifting Dark, for those who weren't here in the beginning, want to know what we're talking about. That large field traveling slowly across the map that you just saw damages enemies who stand inside of it. But if Samuel is inside of it, heals for a small amount for each affected target. So as the targets take damage inside of Drifting Dark, it will benefit Samuel in kind and also empower his A ability. And then Oblivion, the ultimate, puts enemies to sleep. Any kind of aggressive contact with those enemies will wake them up. Abilities, basic attacks, Glaive's Cleave could accidentally set it off, right? So you got to be careful on that, but can be extremely powerful.
So on that note, only direct damage will actually cause it to let them to wake up.
Oh, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, well, Cleave will, but some interesting things you could do is an Adagio.
But are we heard by the humans in the Vainglory verse? We're on.
All right.
All right. So sorry about that. Things disintegrated, but we are back. Do you have any recollection whatsoever? Permanent sleeps.
Oh yeah. So we were talking about how his ultimate will put people to sleep, but only direct damage will actually wake them up. So dot damage like gift of fire won't actually bring them out of their slumber.
Oh, so they can just char to a crisp in their pleasant dreams.
Exactly. You think being set on fire would actually wake you up, but nah. Apparently, this it's just a nice
it's
warm.
It's the gift of fire. That's why. It's
naturally,
like here.
Yeah.
It's pleasant.
It feels great.
Delightful. The blue flames don't set off the same pain sensors.
So the important part about that is you can use Gift of Fire on the sleeping targets, then immediately set up a Verse of Judgment for a guaranteed stun.
Oh, so you would go from sleep to on fire to stunned but woken up.
Yes. And after that, they're in for a very rude
and then you could just like have Jewel land on their head or Impale hit them.
Exactly, just CC them into the ground. Although, granted, I think that after those two skills, if they're still standing,
they're still alive,
you should run now.
Then something else is then something else is wrong. Maybe it's an alpha. Maybe it's a rebooting alpha. So, just coincidentally, as we were waiting for the stream to come back up, we were talking about your Kestrel in VIPL and how you're going to challenge Von C 1v1. But otherwise, you were talking about how you switch mains very often, and right now you consider Lance your main.
Yeah, I absolutely love Lance right now, and Von C could have the title of best Kestrel.
When he says that, he means that he wants a battle with Von C. And that Von C has no claim on the title of best Kestrel NA until he defeats Shinkagen.
Did I say that?
That is exactly what you said.
That doesn't sound like
so many words.
I believe I said he could have
just for that first rotation. Have the Lance starts the double, the other person can start the tree ends, and you can clear those camps real fast.
But I believe you actually been playing Lance a little bit different.
Oh right? Yes. And I feel like I was validated by Team Secret, who played Tension Bow Lance in Evil 8.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, yes. But no, I'm playing Lance very different than what I see most of the time. I'm playing a double proc Lance that just... There's so many squishies in the meta right now. There's Voxes and Lyras all over the place. And the double proc Lance with a heavy steel also for when you start to fall off. You can turn it into a Sorrow Blade if you have to. Just super, super powerful right now.
So you're telling me that you taught Team Secret everything they know about Lance?
No. Actually, I think in the beginning of the first split of Evil 8, I believe that Kvalifar played a Tension Bow Lance, which was the reason that I originally tried it. And then I've just been maining Lance all the way to POA and playing a Rush Tension Bow, then a heavy steel with an aftershock, defense, and boots Lance. And it is just unbelievably fun. Unbelievably fun. The only problem I have is that when I play Roam Lance, I forget that I'm not going to do like a huge chunk of damage when I hit someone with Impale, and I like all in, and then oh no, I'm not really useful for anything except the stun right now, or the root. Yeah,
I've been there. When I played a lot of Lane Finn, if I would switch to Roam Finn, I would drag everyone to me, then quick kill everyone. And like, why are they not dead yet? This is bad. I don't want this.
I did want to ask you a question about that. So, War Treads is now a combined path with the travel boots and the Warhorn, which used to be core items to your Lane Finn build. Is Lane Finn back in your mind? Should people be playing Lane Finn right now?
I have tried him a little bit. He's a lot of fun. I will have to see though whether or not it is something that I would recommend that you should like main, but at least give it a try. He still has a good amount of damage, and Finn's utility is always helpful, no matter what your team comp.
I did see a question roll by regarding blocking Oblivion, blocking the sleep like any other ability with reflex block.
Yes, so that is fine. However, keep in mind that the ability is actually very delayed. Which means if you cast it too early, you may actually like trick yourself and go fall asleep anyhow. There's a small little purple like projectile that you can see come from him, and that's when you should time your reflex block.
Well, that's good. That's useful if you keep an eye on that. King of Zeal, 10, 3, and 8 on this Samuel, opting for a Shatterglass, a Clockwork, and a Broken Myth. He may have the stream on. He may be listening to the Mighty Shinkai.
Yep, that is. It enables his skills to be up more often, which I mentioned. His Drifting Dark is very key to his kit. It's normally on a 20-second cooldown or so, but with a Clockwork, it goes on by quite a bit.
Here's a great question. It seems like it was asked a couple of times. Can Finn be put to sleep?
That is a good question. I have not tried that.
But you know how we can get an answer to that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But the hero designer, Doomnir, is going to be joining us at the conclusion of this match, which is on the verge of ending. Zekent will come on in unless he's still dealing with technical stuff in the back, along with Doomnir, and he will certainly be able to answer that question and any others that people have, because he coded up that hero and probably knows how those things work.
Mm-hmm. At least I would hope so. So let's say that you are up against King of Zeal right now. He's a 10, 3, and 8 Sam. Sam, what should you do?
Put yourself to sleep and get a damage.
Well, in case you want to actually try to win the match, it actually does have a few key weak points. For one, his shots are easily blocked or body blocked, right? So in this case, we have Wit 2-0 who's playing a Catherine. He can easily activate the bubble and then stand in front of him, just blocking all the damage that he can possibly put out. In that sense, it's very similar to facing against a Kestrel. As long as you have someone tanky to stand in the front lines and to block the shots before they can get to your carries, he actually can't do too much.
And I saw someone asking if Githian Wall might block Oblivion. I wouldn't expect so. Githian Wall doesn't really block abilities like that. Even a Catherine stun can get through on a Githian Wall. So
except if it's overdrive. So when it's overdrive, you will actually be immune to all CC.
You know what's interesting about that? I never overdrive Githian Wall.
What?
Never.
It's so useful.
So that would be why I don't experience that. I always max Impale and Combat Roll because I'm playing a hyper-aggressive double proc lance.
So, I mean, like, it can actually be used for I think the Kestrel just died to a minion. But anyhow, you can actually use that effect of getting Wall in an aggressive manner. Let's say you're up against a Lyra and you have it maxed. If you use it while in the middle of her
Bright Bowler,
exactly, you actually become immune to its snare effects for a brief period of time.
What?
Leaving you able to roll or impale her.
I like that.
Yeah, it's also just nice.
So you maxing A and B?
Yes.
Always with the A and B. Always with the A and B. Name me one hero where you max C.
I was like Scarf, yeah. Celeste. Actually, not Samuel.
Not Samuel. Tell me why.
I actually, well, it's actually not a bad choice. Oh, Rona. I will.
Nivmet is acting out a Rona ult.
So here, I personally prefer to max my A and B here. Although if you do max Oblivion, you will increase the amount of time that they are asleep for. I believe it's 0.5 seconds per rank, up to a max of 3 seconds.
Up to a maximum of 35 seconds.
No, that would be very trolling. I would just put people to sleep and just walk away.
Yeah.
Just walk away. Just leave them there.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
You were upsetting me, and now you can sit in a corner.
I think at that point, I would just strive to get enough cooldowns so I could put them to sleep the entire game. Just walk by every 35 seconds. Like, nope, stay there. Nope, stay there. Not going to anywhere.
Oh, I'm so glad old school can't do that, because that's all he would do.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, I actually think that pro player is going to take to this hero quite a bit. He's a very high skill cap hero. There's a lot of things you got to factor in the middle of a team fight, and you do have to constantly be on the move. But if you do master him, he's extremely strong.
For anyone who joined us late, that is the voice of the one and only Shin Kaigen, who is local here at the Lair in California. Very exciting for us, and giving you all of his insight on the next Vainglory hero, Samuel. Look at the mobility there all over, plus the Fortress perk on that, helping him accelerate. Wow, all over this poor Lance, drifting dark as well. No chance for the Lance. What did you notice in that sequence?
So at that point, you can see that even though Lance can use his combat roll, there is no escaping him. Remember, he can move while shooting. He's not like hindered at all. In fact, if he lands his skill shots, he'll actually get a small like movement speed boost, and you can see that he used that to stick as close to the Lance as possible and finish him off. And in order to beat him, you will need someone like an assassin, like Taka or Akashka, that can really jump on him before you can.
Did you say like Kashka?
Yes, I did. Akashka can do very, very well at sticking close to him or to pin him down using Yummy Catnip Frenzy.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
I know you've been a fan for about Kashka. That is until Lance has. Would you say that Lance has now replaced Kashka in your heart?
Well, not in my heart. Has replaced Kashka in summer season because Zekent is personally trolling me and has left Kashka without a buff for 11 months. Literally 11 months. But Kashka is stronger in 121, I'm told, and we'll see.
Yep, I have actually been on the receiving end of Zekent's
Did they throw this game?
I believe they did. They actually pushed a little too hard. They tried to end the game a little too soon. Ended up getting picked off.
Okay then.
That was a very close game. You can see even the goal difference is only off by like 6K, despite the kills being 11 kills a point.
GG everyone.